Welcome into OutKick the show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having a fantastic Thursday. Hurrah, NFL season has returned. You have made it through the long, dark off season since February when the Eagles got the win over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl down in New Orleans. We now have the Eagles hosting the Cowboys. Dive into that and a bit more. Also, we will be doing, as we do every single Thursday, a special edition of The Fade, and that is coming your way. Also want to encourage you, go click like and subscribe if you are on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, wherever you are. I think primarily that's for YouTube where you're supposed to do that. But the response already on the Cody Campbell long form has been really good. It is up on the YouTube page. If you are interested in the future of college athletics, in particular college football, which we'll talk about a bit here, which I imagine almost all of you are, that's a conversation you're not going to find very many places. And I'm going to be doing a series. I've already been texting with all sorts of people, conference commissioners, television executives, television network executives, people who are coaches, involved on the business side, everybody, about sitting down and doing long-form discussions like these. I don't know that you're going to get them anywhere else. And so this is going to be, I think, a place where hopefully you can see an interesting, intelligent, nuanced, long-form conversation surrounding the future of college athletics. Texas Tech booster Cody Campbell, first person to sit down with, but there will be many more. That is up. You're only going to be able to find the full length of that, I believe, on YouTube. So if you want to see it, you're going to have to go to YouTube, go subscribe. I appreciate the fact that a lot of you watch this on Twitter, and a lot of you watch it all over the place. In fact, I'm going to go in right now and share the show on Twitter right now as it is occurring in real time, and we got a lot to dive into. In particular, we have got to dive into the NFL returning and the huge audiences that are out there for Texas, Ohio State. We got a bunch of stories. So let's start with the NFL coming back. And the fact that tonight's game is between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I didn't talk much about the Micah Parsons news because I think it happened while I was on the road already beginning to travel for week one of college football. And I popped out a tweet and said, hey, I don't think this is a bad move for the Cowboys. That might have been a minority opinion. I'm not even sure what the majority opinion of it was because I did not read a lot of reaction. But in general, giving nearly $200 million guaranteed to a rush defensive end feels like a risky move unless you are the Green Bay Packers, for instance, and believe the difference between us being able to get over the hump in the NFC and not is having an elite rush defensive end. I don't think, and I think we'll see it tonight, that the Cowboys are very close to winning the Super Bowl. If I am correct, and I bet most Cowboy fans would agree with me, that the Cowboys are not close to winning the Super Bowl, then making a decision to add 2 first-round picks and trading back is not actually an awful decision in many ways because it's effectively saying, hey, we're not ready to go and make a Super Bowl run yet. And some people say, well, Clay, that's understandable, but you're not talking about getting super high draft picks because the expectation is that the Packers are going to be a very good team, so you're likely to get their picks in the 20s for the next 2 years. To that, I would say 2 things. One, Jordan Love hasn't stayed that healthy. In fact, if you're a Packers fan, you're nodding along right now because you're saying when he's healthy, Jordan Love has looked really, really good. The problem is he's not always healthy. And if he's not healthy, then the Packers could very easily lose a lot of games. So you're gambling in some degree on the health of Jordan Love. Second, 2 picks in their 20s can be combined along with other assets to move up highly into next year's draft. Why do I say next year's draft? Looking at the board, and I'm a nerd, so I'm looking at the board. Looking at the board of available quarterbacks, next year is potentially going to be one of the best quarterback drafts, according to the experts, in some years, meaning there might be 5 or 6 guys that have first-round grades on them. This past year's draft, Cam Ward, to a large extent, was the only guy that most teams had very highly rated. There wasn't a huge debate about what else to do there, and it remains to be seen. Nobody's talking about Cam Ward. He's basically vanished because everybody decided to talk about Shedeur Sanders and his 5th-round status instead, and the Cleveland Browns drafting Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. My point is, if Dak's not the guy, this year will officially, I think, end the Dak talk once and for all. Maybe you go in, pair those packages together, go get a young quarterback, and move on in the future from Dak. I'll just say, I don't think it was a bad idea because I don't think the Cowboys are a major threat to win the NFC right now. I think Jerry Jones acknowledging that by the decision that he made to trade Dak, to trade Micah Parsons while he still has Dak. So, having said all that, I'm betting on the Cowboys tonight. And I'll talk about it in more earnest detail with Kelly Stewart, a.k.a. Kelly in Vegas, on the Fade, which we're about to tape. But the reason why I'm betting on the Cowboys is they're 8.5-point underdogs. I think that number is too high. When you're playing a team twice a year, you know them quite well. Eagles coming off of a Super Bowl. Sometimes there's a little bit of a hangover early in the season from Super Bowl champion teams. And I think the value, even with the Eagles being the superior team, with less drama throughout the course of the offseason, is actually on them. But I do have a PrizePicks pick for you that goes directly into the game tonight. 2/3 of my pick, in fact, tonight is from the game tonight. I've got Saquon. First of all, go to PrizePicks.com, use code OutKick. That's go to PrizePicks.com, use code OutKick. You get $50 when you play $5, and all you have to do is go to PrizePicks.com, use my name, Clay and/or OutKick. You get $50 when you play $5. All right? Saquon, more than 1/2 of a touchdown tonight for the Eagles. Best player on their team, I would argue. Most of you probably agree with me, certainly on the offensive side of the ball. Saquon, most explosive playmaker. A.J. Brown is good. Devontae Smith is fine. But the best playmaker out there, Saquon Barkley, more than 1/2 touchdown tonight on the PrizePicks pick. Also, CeeDee Lamb, best wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, best playmaker for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take more than 70.5 yards for CeeDee Lamb tonight. More than 70.5 yards for CeeDee Lamb. Saquon, more TDs, rushing, receiving. And then this is the best game, I would argue, of the weekend. Ravens on the road against the Bills. I've got Josh Allen, more than 1.5 passing TDs. If we hit on this, PrizePicks.com, code OutKick, $50 when you play $5. Texas, you can play. California, you can play. Georgia, you can play. If we hit on this, pays out at 4.25 to 1. Okay? So more on Saquon for rushing or receiving touchdowns, more than 1/2. CeeDee Lamb, more than 70.5 receiving yards. And Josh Allen, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns on Sunday night. I believe that's a Sunday night football game against the Ravens. That pays out 4.25 to 1. Go get signed up for PrizePicks. Yesterday, some of you may have heard me talking about sports gaming companies and who's connected and who wants. PrizePicks wants everybody to play. They don't care if you're a Republican. They don't care if you're a Democrat. They don't care if you're independent. They don't care if you've never voted in your life. If you love football, you need to sign up for PrizePicks. Use code OutKick for $50. All right, so NFL coming back. I told you that I like the Cowboys, and I just gave you the picks that I like in tonight's game. Certainly, we will be talking about that on Tuesday of next week. Reminder, the Fade coming up next, so we'll dive all into the NFL. Monday's show, almost exclusively college football here on OutKick with me. Tuesday, we do almost exclusively NFL. And, heck, I'll go ahead and say it. Probably shouldn't. But we're going to have a new FS1 show, the OutKick show, that is going to start on FS1 in a couple of weeks. and it will be almost exclusively focused on college football and the NFL. I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm not supposed to break news. But anyway, that's coming in a couple of weeks, so that is going to be pretty cool. Obviously, I've done FS1 for a long time, but just FYI. All right. Now, so you get a little bit of a preview for something that may or may not make news for a couple of weeks still. A couple of things else out there. Ratings are in for college football week 1, and they were stupendous. I want to congratulate Fox Sports. I've worked with Fox Sports since, 2013. I will be on Big Noon Kickoff, which had great ratings as well, on September 13th. I'll be at the Tennessee-Georgia football game up in Knoxville, one of the first big SEC games of the year. And I'll be on Big Noon from that game and from other games during the course of the season in the SEC. But 16.6 million people watched Texas-Ohio State. Week 1 ratings, according to my buddy Mike Mulvihill, who I want to talk to as a part of this college football discussion, up 40% across the board. Now, partly this is matchups, and I'm going to do something extraordinary, and I'm going to give credit to ESPN too. They had 3 games on ESPN with over 10 million viewers. Notre Dame, Miami, 10.8 million viewers. Alabama, Florida State, I was at that game, 10.7 million viewers. LSU against Clemson, 10.4 million viewers. All those games aired on ABC and were over 10 million viewers. And again, the Texas-Ohio State game was the most watched week 1 college football game in the history of the sport. Let me repeat that. Texas-Ohio State was the most watched college football game in the history of week 1 in the sport. Wowza. Okay? So, within that construct, what did we learn? Big games matter. College football, fans, everyone, we want more big matchups. Notre Dame going up against Miami. What a scene it was at Hard Rock Stadium. Electric environment. LSU on the road against Clemson, a battle in Death Valley. FSU, Alabama down at Doak Walker, right? Doak Campbell. There's a Doak Walker Award. It's Doak Campbell, right? How are there double Dokes? That's a really kind of a tough one for me. And then, obviously, Texas on the road against Ohio State. I'm going to look right in the camera. I'm going to make this pitch. Tony Petitti, Big Ten Commissioner. Greg Sankey, SEC Commissioner. Jimmy Pitaro, head of ESPN. Eric Shanks, head of Fox Sports. Let's get it done. 1-16 SEC versus Big Ten Challenge, week 1. Make it a thing every year. You can play games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days. Set up number 1 against number 1, number 2 against number 2, alternate the matchups. 8 on Big Ten campuses, 8 on SEC campuses. Play for a conference championship trophy to start the season. Which is the best conference? Do it. By the way, I would give advice to the Big 12 and the ACC to do their own challenges too. Their television ratings would be through the roof, okay? This would dominate. People say, yeah, but what about happens when Rutgers is playing Mississippi State? Somebody hopped in the comments, and they're like, people would watch because it would go to who is the best conference. It would be a rising tide that lifted all boats. At the apex, the Texas-Ohio State, who's the second best team? Your Oregon against Georgia. Think a lot of people might watch that. Just use the sort of the expectations before the season. Hey, this is how we rank teams. There are 16 teams in the SEC. So whoever you expect to be the worst, go up against the worst nearly in the Big Ten. I know the Big Ten has more teams in the SEC right now. And just set it up. It's not fair to try to make it random, make big brand against big brand. And whoever wins 9, they get a trophy. Create a trophy, make a trophy. I'll design the trophy for you right here live. Make a trophy that that encompasses the South and most of the Big Ten. I know you got Oregon and Washington and the USC and UCLA floating out there on the West, so maybe you drag that directly across and just kind of put it next to Nebraska for the Big Ten. But basically say this is a national championship, team championship, conference championship of America, and award it. And let the SEC schools hold it on campus when they win. Let the Big Ten schools hold it on campus when they win. Save it for the final matchup, and let teams grab it like they do for regional rivalry games now. And I'm telling you, this would be a home run. So I'm giving a gift that would make everybody hundreds of millions of dollars, would put more eyeballs on the game. Because here's my argument. College football is the second most popular sport in America. But there is still a huge market that is not being served, that isn't buying in. They would when you give them better matchups. Because when people watch college football games, they tend to love them. NFL is clear number 1. College football is second most popular sport in America. It should be more popular than it is. Boom, there's a way to help grow it. But I give credit to College Game Day. I give credit to Big Noon. I give credit to ESPN. I give credit to Fox. These numbers are through the roof when you actually look. Again, according to Mike Mulvihill, overall viewership up 40%. And let me say this. There's a lot of criticism out there because people are like, oh, the game starts at noon, right? It works. It works. If you want eyeballs, Mike Mulvihill nailed this with Big Noon. There are tons of people out there at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, 10 a.m. in the Mountain Time Zone, 11 a.m. Central Time, that want to sit down and watch a big game coming right out of the pregame shows. You don't want to sit around and have to wait till 7:30 when every great game is going at the same time. I watch college football when I'm not on the road for a game all day long. I told you guys, even when I was at the Florida State-Alabama game in Tallahassee last weekend, I drove all the way back to my to the beach, got to the house to watch the end of LSU and Clemson, and then stayed up till 1 a.m. Central watching UCLA-Utah. I'm in the 99th percentile for most college football viewership in the country. I can't get enough of it. I want a game kicking off that I care about at noon. I want a game finishing at 1 a.m. that I care about too. So I'm all in for 12 straight hours. Now, I might take a little bit of a break. Might have to go run the kids around to a game. Might have to have obligations inside of the house or with all the 80 different jobs that I got. But my favorite thing in the world is to watch college football games all day. Saturday, 2 days from now, I'm sitting down on my couch, and I'm watching games from 11 a.m. all the way the rest of the day, and then I'm doing my starting 11 column. Next weekend, the 13th, I'm driving to Knoxville. I'll be up for the Georgia-Tennessee game, taking my kids, hanging out. I've actually got Lisa Booth and her boyfriend from Fox News. Lisa Booth's a University of Tennessee fan, hasn't been to a game in years. She's coming with us. Said, you got to get back on the hill. You got to go watch a game. So we're going to have an awesome crew for the Tennessee-Georgia game. Can't wait. So congratulations to everybody out there who are watching in big numbers. I saw this story. I don't even know that we have any. I haven't even checked to see what video feeds we have or what editions we have. Laura Rutledge, who's been a friend of mine for a long time. I don't want to get people in trouble by saying they're friends, but she's done great work for a long time. She came out and said that she had a burner account. Her husband, Josh, also a great guy, was a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox. And she had a burner account where she would go in and respond to his critics and talk positively about him that she went public with in an interview that she did recently. I love this. I don't like the idea of burner accounts where you run a burner account that you try to, like, boost yourself. I'm probably too much of a megalomaniac. I have never had a burner account in my entire life. I want to say exactly what I think, and I want everybody to react to it for better or worse. I wouldn't give the credit to an anonymous account for an opinion that I otherwise would have. I don't know how common burner accounts are, but I do like the idea of a burner account that is designed only to positively endorse people that otherwise are ripping your loved ones, right? I had to tell my mom that she couldn't get in the comments when I used to write at cbssports.com, CBS Sportsline back in the day. People would say awful things. And my mom got in the comments early on, and she was defending me. And I was like, oh, my God. I actually looked in the comments, and it's my mom like, he's a great husband. He's a great dad. And I was like, oh, my, Mom, you can't. So I do get it. Mom, you can't get in the comments and fight with people about the fact that I'm actually a good dad or the fact that I'm actually a good guy. I appreciate it. I love you. You can't do it. It'll turn into a big story. Never was an issue for my wife. She's probably just really busy. But to my knowledge, Laura Travis has never been in the comments defending me for anything. Now, let me say this. I will say in defense of my wife here, the number of times, and I think this is a sign that you're actually a psycho, that, and I've had to talk to my boys about this, the number of times that people will decide to tag my wife on social media or even kids and say things about me, it's really, frankly, awful. Like, do you have a semblance of humanity? You don't like me, whatever. Say whatever you want in the comments. Like, attack me, whatever you want. That's fine. Like, this is my business. This is my job. I'm a First Amendment guy. You can say whatever you want about me. I think it's really weird to be like, I'm going to go talk to this guy's wife. I'm going to go talk to this guy's kids. Weird. Like, don't do that. And by the way, don't do that to, now it's different if people are also in the public eye, right? Like if you have a kid and the kid is in media, that's different, obviously. Or if you are speaking out, like you're going out on a regular basis, if you're I think it's weird personally, but if you're the first lady and you are out there in the public arena, like people can react to you when you are putting yourself out there. But just because you happen to be married to somebody or just because you happen to be the kid of somebody, you being like, oh, I'm going to go to this person's spouse or I'm going to go to this person's kid. That's weird. Don't do it, right? Especially, I can't believe I've said, especially if the kids are kids. It's like super weird. Don't do it. PSA for me on behalf of everyone out there, even the mafia. Even the mafia is like, yeah, wife and kids are out of the line of fire. If you're making a decision that's different than the mafia, you need to reconsider your life. Like the mafia is like, hey, you sit down for a spaghetti meal, we might kill you. You signed up for it, right? That's your job. You might get a bullet to the head while you're having chicken parmesan in an Italian restaurant. But even the mafia is like, yeah, we're not touching wives and we're not touching kids. There is a code, even in the mafia, among gangsters who are trying to kill each other. They have a code. Nobody goes after wife and kids. If you're going after wife and kids, like maybe reconsider your life's decisions. PSA. Fox News. I don't know how many other people are going to notice this. I don't know how many other people are going to jump on it. Fox News just announced, I shared the numbers. Do we have this graphic? I tweeted it out. I don't know if we have a graphic. You can take my word for it. There it is. This is the PR from Fox News. More people watched Fox News in the summer of 2025, what year are we in, than watched any other television network. More people watched Fox News than ABC, than NBC, than CBS in prime time for the entire summer. That's a oh wow moment. incredible. Fox News, more watched than ABC, which is free on broadcast, NBC, which is free on broadcast, and CBS, which is free on broadcast. Fox News is not just the most popular channel on cable now. It is the most popular channel on all of TV. Unbelievable. So credit to everybody at Fox News. Want more credit? How about the people who bought American Eagle stock? As I speak to you right now, American Eagle, after the close of business yesterday, announced that the Sydney Sweeney jeans are selling so much better than expected that they have increased their profit targets. And as I am talking to you right now, American Eagle stock is up 36% on the day. Here is the graphic. Looks like an erect penis. It is up 36% on the day. This is what heterosexual men think when they see Sydney Sweeney in a halter top. Up 36%. This is what their biology does. Up 36% on the day and nearly $5 on the stock price, $18.50 as I am speaking to you right now. This is, again, I don't think it is a surprise, not to people like me, but it is a sign of the cultural landscape changing significantly. And it's changing by just going back to pretty girls, football being more popular than it ever has been before. If you think about it, OutKick has built initially an entire brand on we like football and we like pretty girls, and then we added on, and Donald Trump's a pretty good president. And that is how OutKick has become a super successful business. It's not rocket science. Let's see here. I'm going to give, I can't believe this, but I'm looking at the graphics. I am going to give credit to ESPN here. A lot of people are going after ESPN because the NFL RedZone has announced that they are going to now have commercials. And ESPN doesn't have anything to do with this at all because they don't own the NFL. It has to be approved. The transfer of ownership has not occurred yet. And Kathy Hochul, who is the governor of New York, attacked ESPN and Donald Trump because the NFL RedZone is now going to have commercials. And neither one of them have anything at all to do with this. But I got to give credit to ESPN. This was not their responsibility. What do we have? YouTube comments. Can you send those to me again, Adam? They didn't come through. I have not seen them yet. So send that my way. Here they are. Okay, you can hop in the comments. Click like on the comments that you enjoy the most. Try to be succinct so that because I have to be able to read them during the course of the program. So you can't send me like eight pages of your analysis of BCS rankings compared to the AP rankings and what it would have looked like in the last 20 years. And then expect me to read that and analyze it while I'm on the air. I have to be able to read it quickly. All right, here we go. I don't look at these, by the way, until they are directly in front of me. Kalen DeBoer, this is Scott, says, Kalen DeBoer deserves the Bill Curry brick treatment. Curry got the message and left Alabama on his own, 1988. A new office window would be a lot cheaper than DeBoer's buyout. Reports Bill Curry got a brick through. Do not throw any bricks through anybody's window, okay? Also, Kalen DeBoer deserves to be paid the full amount that he is owed. The contract allows Alabama to fire Kalen DeBoer, but he is entitled to the money that he signed the contract for. So I wouldn't walk away from any payment. Fox pays me the last amount they owe for OutKick in January. I'd be a moron to be like, okay, you bought my company. You don't have to pay me the rest of the money that you owe me. That's why we signed a contract. And I get, yesterday I talked about the fact Kalen DeBoer might not work out, but the reason why he left Washington was because Alabama guaranteed him a lot of money. And unless he is being fired for cause And that typically means that he has committed an illegal act, violated his contract in some way. If you're just firing him because he's not winning enough games, he's entitled to all of the money that he's being offered. Otherwise, he would have never left Washington. So, look, Kalen DeBoer deserves all his money. I trust Coach Tim Walz more than I do Kalen DeBoer with this team. Love my Tide. That is very funny. I would not say that Tim Walz, who runs, according to his Twitter account, a mean pick six play when he plays against AOC. I do not have faith in Tim Walz to do anything well. I mean, seriously. I think he got every response to BLM wrong. I know people just want to pretend that the BLM era didn't happen and that COVID didn't happen, and people are like, we just want to turn the page 5 years later. We don't want to have to go back through this. If Tim Walz had called out the National Guard and actually allowed them to protect the city of Minneapolis, I don't think we would have had nationwide cities burning, because the precedent would have been put in place of, hey, we don't allow violent looting to occur in this city. And if you get arrested, you're going to be put away. What was it? Gwen? Is it Gwen Walz, who was his wife, said, we left the windows of our mansion open so we could smell the burning fires. Like, that's friggin' weird. Okay? I don't want anybody's house getting burned down. I don't want anybody's business getting burned down. And anyone who tries to do either, I want arrested, and I want them to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Period. Some of y'all will remember, because you were following me back then, they tried to burn down City Hall in Nashville. I watched it live on television. They're breaking the windows and putting Molotov cocktails inside and trying to burn down the whole building. And I lost my mind. I was like, where are the police? How are we allowing this to happen? Tim Walz put all of that in motion. So the comment is very funny, but I don't think we're holding Tim Walz accountable enough for how much of a disaster he was. As great of a coach as Nick Saban is, I'm not sold he would have won national titles anywhere he went. He didn't win one at Michigan State. I think when he started coaching in the SEC, it was the right time. All the other conferences and Notre Dame were much weaker. Perfect storm for him. I said in the SEC, if Nick Saban never left LSU, I believe that Nick Saban would have won just as many titles at LSU as he did at Alabama, maybe more. Because the situation was so well set up at LSU that Les Miles won a national title for a team with 2 losses. Les Miles wouldn't have lost to Alabama 21-0 in the Alabama-LSU all-SEC national title game if Nick Saban hadn't been at Alabama, because Saban would have been at LSU instead. I think that Nick Saban at LSU would have won the same number of championships. Michigan State is like, sorry, Michigan State fans, the 7th or 8th best job in the Big Ten. And they have a fraction of the resources that top SEC programs have. So to me, I would have said beyond a shadow of a doubt, hey, I'm all in on LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Texas, at least 7 SEC teams, probably also even more Auburn. As I run through at least half of the SEC, I think that Nick Saban could have won the same number of championships. Because take it from me, a lot of these Alabama fans have never been anywhere else in the conference. A lot of them have barely left the state of Alabama. The physical structure and resources for Alabama football are not better than Texas or Texas A&M or Tennessee or Georgia or Florida or, frankly, even Auburn, right, in the state. Nick Saban made Alabama. Alabama did not make Nick Saban. there are at least half of the SEC schools where Saban could have done the exact same thing when you look at recruiting bases and everything else. I'll tell you this. Like, I'm going to go to a 9th grade football game as soon as I finish my shows today. I'm headed across town to go watch my son play. The number of incredible high school football players that are in Nashville now blows my mind. When I was a kid, and even when I started in sports, this city was not producing the kind of talent it is now. You could win a national championship just almost by recruiting top players from Nashville. I mean, think about it. Jared Curtis is the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, in college football right now, he's going to Georgia. But it used to be McIntyre's one of the top quarterbacks. He's committed. He's at Tennessee now. Just in the last couple of years out of different programs. Insworth's quarterback is going to Wyoming. NBA's quarterback is going to Southern Miss. I mean, there's like 20 players every year going to elite schools just out of Nashville. In Tennessee, if you just draw a circle, people you say, oh, there's no great players. You draw a circle around Tennessee, you get a 3-hour circle, basically. You get Nashville, Atlanta, and Charlotte. You can win a national championship at Tennessee without having to recruit a single player more than 3 hours, basically, from campus. You get the best players from Atlanta. You get the best players from Charlotte. You get the best players from Nashville, and that's just Tennessee. You know, we know Florida produces players like crazy. We know Texas produces players like crazy, right? For those schools that are located there, Georgia. I mean, it really is extraordinary how many more people live in these towns now. I don't think it gets talked about enough. Charlotte, Nashville, and Atlanta have blown up to such an extent. There are, I mean, I bet compared to 20 years ago, I bet the metro areas of those 3 communities by themselves, I bet they've added 5 million people. I don't think that's, in the last 20 years, I bet the Metro Nashville, Metro Charlotte, and Metro Atlanta, I bet they've added 5 million people. You win a national championship just by getting the best players from those 3 cities. You don't even need to look at the rest of the country. Anyway, anything else? Oh, we got a man bun. Here is a Man Bun picture, I think, to break down. There we go. Ben Shapiro was on with us. That is me with a man bun, and the future is female. We were talking about me going to a Kamala event. That's going to be my outfit. Or maybe I need to get the Rachel Maddow, Mark Cuban specs. That's probably what I need to add to that show. All right. Up now, I'm going to go do the fade with Kelly Stewart. Enjoy the Cowboys tonight. Going up against the Eagles. More on Saquon Barkley rushing, receiving touchdown. CeeDee Lamb more than 70.5 touchdown yards receiving. You can put up that graphic of me looking amazing next to PrizePicks, and Josh Allen more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. All that tonight and on Sunday, and it pays out at 4.25 to 1. I'll see you guys on the fade as well. Go watch the Cody Campbell interview. Trust me, it's great. Click like and subscribe. And thank you for all the comments. Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on PrizePicks. Download PrizePicks and use code OutKick and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.